This is a video on Quentin Tarantino films. I think I've seen all of them. I don't know if he has maybe some other short films that are more obscure and harder to find out there, but I'm just going to give quick synopses and my thoughts on the ones that I have seen. I'll try to go in chronological order from when they were released. Um, so Reservoir Dogs is the first one that debuted in '92. I do believe that was his first film uh, that he made. I'm going to check on that. But that's a good one. I haven't seen that one in a while, but I do like Michael Madsen in that. I think he plays a very interesting sort of deviant character. And I don't think these characters in a lot of his films, I wouldn't describe them as villains, and I'm glad that Quentin makes a lot of his characters ambiguous in terms of morality, because I think that's more true to life. But they're deviant. They are criminals. They do some nasty, horrible things, but there is a sliver of good to them. A uh, maybe a salt or a grain of salt of good to them. Um, but I'm just trying to find out his filmography here. So, so Reservoir Dogs is not on Wikipedia, but that is for the award. So I'm just going to look up the filmography here. Okay, it is on there. I just looked at the wrong section. Reservoir Dogs was his first film. I know he did spend a lot of time in a video rental store, watching a lot of films and learning about them. I think he's a really good writer, good director too. Acting, I don't think he's a bad actor. I don't think I could act any better than he could, but I think he's gotten better with age at acting, and that definitely shows in his films. But I think he's fine. I think he does a good job. Um, but yeah, really better known for the writing and directing. So Reservoir Dogs, from what I can remember, again, this is a lot of these videos are based on things that I saw a long time ago, and I'm working from memory. I'm using the internet a bit to help me give my thoughts on them, but I'm going to try not to use it as much as possible. So Reservoir Dogs is a movie, or film rather. It is a film about a group of criminals, all with different names that have different colors to them. Agent, not Agent, Mr. White, Mr. Orange, Mr. Pink, Mr. Brown. There might be a Mr. Blue in there also. I don't remember all of them. But they just engage in a lot of deviant activities. Spoiler alert, there's a scene where Michael Madsen cuts the ear off of someone he is interrogating. I'm trying to remember the main plot of the film, though, because I'm giving a very general explanation of it. But that's what I can do from memory here. I'm going to read the plot from Wikipedia. Eight gangsters eat breakfast at a diner. Mr. Brown, White. Oh, Mr. Blonde was the other one. Mr. Orange, Mr. Pink, Mr. Brown. Oh yeah, there's that famous scene where they talk about tips and whether or not to tip and how much they tip. So good dialogue. Sorry, I keep farting here. Something to do. Again, a lot of his films, his early films, don't follow a linear plot line. They jump around in time a bit. I think this one is linear, though. Pulp Fiction is not, but I'm just going to verify that by reading the plot a bit here. So just give me one moment. Okay, so it is about diamonds, some stolen diamonds. I think I'd assume that they are all trying to gain access to these diamonds. Yeah, so they're beating each other for information regarding the diamonds. Yeah, the Michael Madsen's character, as I mentioned, cuts off another character called Nash. This is from Wikipedia. Cuts his ear off. Okay, so more spoilers here. Mr. Orange, I believe that's played by Tim Roth. I'll check that there. Yep, I was right on that one. He reveals to Nash that he's an undercover police officer. Let's see. So they show Mr. Orange being recruited for the heist, as him being an undercover police officer. I'm just scanning here. Okay, so Mr. Pink, by the end. Okay, so all three Firebolt cabinets are killed. Okay, so Mr. Orange is hit a second time, and Mr. White is also shot. So there's some contention on whether or not Mr. Orange is or is not a police officer. Um, okay, so Mr. Orange is shot. I do believe he is the police officer based on what I read. Mr. White is also shot. So Mr. White is Harvey Keitel's character. Mr. Pink, who is played by Steve Buscemi. So I guess I'll just name all the actors after this. But Mr. Pink, the only uninjured person, takes the diamonds and flees, but is apprehended by the police outside. As Mr. White cradles the badly injured Mr. Orange in his arm, Mr. Orange does confess that he is in fact a police officer. The sobbing Mr. White presses his gun to Mr. Orange's head. Whether he not pulls the trigger is left ambiguous as the police storm the warehouse and gun him down. Ah, okay. So I forgot about that from the film. So we don't know if Mr. Orange is killed at the end. So ambiguity at the end of films, always good. Always leaves a little bit of wonder in the audience. So that's a good use that there by Tarantino. So good job there. But yeah, I do remember a bit better now. So I do remember that it is about that gang of deviants, but it is about getting those diamonds. And Mr. Orange is the undercover cop who eventually reveals them. And Mr. Pink, who survives and gets away with the diamonds, and then Mr. White, who is left with Mr. Orange and is then arrested. We think at the end. Oh no, is gunned down at the end. I apologize for that. So that's really good. It has an interesting conflict between these criminals. Has that good element of the undercover cop being in there to provide a bit of suspense between these characters, questioning whether or not Mr. Pink is the undercover cop, Mr. White is, Mr. Blonde is. So it leaves the viewer questioning as along with the characters. So you have Harvey Keitel as Mr. White, Tim Roth as Mr. Orange, Michael Madsen as Mr. Blonde, Chris Penn as Eddie Cabot, Steve Buscemi as Mr. Pink, and there's a bunch of other actors here too. Oh, Quentin Tarantino as Mr. Brown, Edward Bunker as Mr. Blue, and oh, Stephen Wright is in there too. He's a good comedian. He is K. Billy, the DJ, uh, for that film there. Oh, okay. So that refreshed my memory there. I really like the film. I do remember seeing it a long time ago, so I remember liking it. I just needed to refresh my memory on what the plot was, and it is. That's a really good one. That's probably my That's up there in his films. I'll rank these two in terms of my favorites. I like them all, but I'll rank them at the end once I go through them a bit more. Pulp Fiction, I've seen this a bunch. This is probably my favorite one. I really like just the feel to this film. I really like the non-linear plot. It doesn't just follow a straight plot where it goes from beginning to middle to end. It jumps around in time, so it shows parts of the middle, parts of the end, then parts of the beginning, and then parts of the middle, then parts of the end again, and it just jumps around, and the viewer has to sort of puzzle piece these different uh, sections into one coherent storyline. and I really like that he did that. That's both challenging for the director, for the editors, for the writer, for Quentin, and it's a good challenge for the viewer too, because you have to sort of stick with the characters for a while and then figure out how they're all related to each other. It's not just like, okay, here's this character, he meets him, and then this happens. You show a bit of this character. Well, he shows it, Quentin Tarantino. He shows a bit of one character, and then he jumps to another one, where's at a different point in time, and then he jumps to another character at another point in time, and then you have to the piece all of them together and make a coherent um, story out of it for yourself, which is good. I like when writers do that. I haven't seen any films like that recently, so maybe that's a trend that should emerge again. I'm not going to speak too much about it because there might be some out there, but this is definitely a unique feature of this film, and I wish other films would start doing that more. Now, again, I don't want it to be overused, but I think it should be coming back a little bit more. But I really like all the characters. Again, they're all morally ambiguous. Reservoir Dogs seem to have a little bit less of that than I thought, but I still really like that film. This film really is a character study at its heart, also. This examining what is right, what is wrong, and it does sort of ride the line very closely in terms of all the characters that are being examined here. Not all are good, not all are bad, and not all of them are completely one or the other. As with any human being, they are a shade of some color, a bit bad, a bit good, maybe mostly good with a bit of bad, or vice versa. And I really enjoy that. So, for instance, even the most moral out of all the character, Butch, who doesn't really do anything super bad. He still has his faults. He, fakes a fight where he fakes losing to get some money. He does try to use this to better his own life, to create a better life for him and his wife there. But um, it does end up getting him into a world of trouble, so to speak. He has to defend himself from these gangsters who are trying to kill him because I'm trying to think of the word. He took a dive. Because he took a dive. I was thinking dive earlier, but then I had to remember that whole phrase there. But yeah, just by doing that, being associated with these questionable people, he risks his own life, um, not just his economic situation, but just being killed. Um, but the scene with him and I'm trying to think of the actor's name. Ving Rhames' character, the man who is trying to kill him for taking a dive and cheating him out of his money. The head of the two gangsters, Vincent Vega and Jules, both played by John Travolta and Sam Jackson, respectively. Um, that scene is just always very memorable, not just because it has the gimp in it, which is weird. It has that sort of sadomasochist, weird sexual, even homosexual tension to it, which is weird and frightening. But that scene's also good because it's about redemption for Butch also. So he's in a tight spot. The person he's with, who is trying to kill him, is right next to him, tied up to him in the same situation he's in now. I don't know how Butch broke free of his uh, cuffs there. I don't think they were cuffs. I think it was just a rope that was tied around him. So maybe that would be. Although ropes might be tougher, so I don't know how he broke from whatever those were, but he does. He is a boxer, so you might have the strength to do that. I question that a bit, but it's fine. It moves the plot along. But when he saves himself and Ving Rhames, and when Ving Rhames' character forgives him, it's just interesting because it's like Butch is not all good. He did cheat Ving Rhames out of his money, but even after trying to kill him, Ving Rhames' character, which I have to find the name for that character, Marcellus Wallace. That character does end up forgiving him because Butch does save his life, even though they ended up in that situation after tussling and being near that. I think it's a weapon store. Yeah, it's a weapon store because Butch uses the katana blade at the end to kill the police officer who's going to anally rape him. And yeah, so unfortunately, he can't save Marcellus Wallace from being raped in the anus for a while, but you don't know whether or not that cop was probably the cop probably would have killed Marcellus Wallace to keep his mouth shut permanently at the end. So I like to think that Butch did save Marcellus's life, and I think that's a good compromise there. Uh, yeah, I think I would do the same if I were in that situation. I think I'd forgive Butch also for taking the dive. But yeah, that's the main plot that I remember from the story. And then also they had the gangsters involved. Vincent Vega, who is the brother of Mr. Blonde, Michael Madsen's character. I think that's Victor Vega. And I do remember a Vega brothers film being discussed for a while. My friend actually told me about that in college. Mr. Andrew Carlson there. Um, that's not been made. Maybe someday, when they're old, they'll might make a film about that. I don't know how that would work because they would have to be younger brothers for them to make a film about that, as they're both pushing up daisies now. But um, actually, no, yeah, because Mr. Blonde died in Reservoir Dogs. Also, I thought I'm just going to check that. But those are both two interesting characters. Also, towards the phone. I'm just trying to find out if Mr. Blonde died here. Mr. Bloom. Mr. Blonde was Lord, his father was please. So Eddie Ames is gonna Mr. White. Oh yeah, the Mexican standoff scene in the Reservoir Dogs too. I remember that too. So Eddie Ames is gonna Mr. White creating a Mexican standoff. So who are the other two in there? I think it's Mr. Blonde. Yeah, and Mr. Blonde, Mr. White, all three fire. Both Cabots are killed. Oh, okay. So it's oh, so that's what I failed to mention in the other one. There's this Mexican standoff between three characters, both of the Cabots, who I don't know what they do. Eddie and Joe Cabot, and then Mr. Orange and Mr. White. Yeah, so Mr. White is the one with the gun. I think Mr. Orange is hit with either a ricochet or just an extra shot that was fired. But the standoff is between Mr. White and the Cabot brothers. Or maybe it's father and son. But Eddie Cabot and Joe Cabot. So that's another good element of Reservoir Dogs, which I failed to mention in the Reservoir Dogs discussion. But I'll get more into Pulp Fiction here. So you have the Butch and Marcellus Wallace plot, as well as the Gimp and Zed, the rapist police officer. The store owner there, I'm trying to remember his name. He's in there too, and he's also part of that rape session. Um, I have to find his name. I remember looking that up a while ago, but I'll check now. Twin Ritter. Shoot, that's Maynard. Yeah, okay, so that's his name. The character's name, played by Dwayne Whitaker. So Maynard is the shop owner in that. So you have that plot there. Butch takes a dive, gets some money that was meant to be for the crime boss Marcellus Wallace. Marcellus gets angry. He sends out his gangsters to kill Butch. Butch ends up, and I didn't mention this in the plot with Butch, but Butch kills Vincent Vega, who is just a doofus and forgets to bring the gun with him into the bathroom. And so Butch uses the gun to kill Vincent Vega, who is in Butch's home. And you also have the Jules character, who is Vincent Vegas's partner, and you have that scene at the end where he is talking about quitting his job as an assassin slash gangster and just walking the earth. And then Tim Roth's character, Pumpkin, and his wife come in and try to rob the diner that they're in. Jules stops them by using his own gun to convince them to leave. Um, and yeah, there's more to the plot also. There's another story with the two gangsters that involve accidentally shooting someone who they were not meant to shoot accidentally, as Vincent is pointing his gun at him while he's talking to him in the car. Jules goes over a bump. The trigger is pulled by accident. It shoots this other character played by Phil Lamar. Oh god, the character's name gets shot in the head, dies, and now the two gangsters are in trouble as that person was meant to not be killed. So they have to hide the body, change their car. They go to Harvey Keitel's character to do this. The Wolf, who takes care of issues like this, the cleaner kind of character, so to speak. They go to Quentin Tarantino character's house. The character's name is Jimmy. Jimmy expresses his concern quite adamantly about a car being put in his garage with I'm not going to use that naughty language that he uses, but the dead person in his car. Um, but that's another element of the plot. You also have the scene where Vincent Vega. A lot of the movie is about these characters just getting into trouble, and then some get out of the trouble and some don't. So that seems to be a theme of the film. Vincent Vega gets out of trouble. In this part that I'm about to explain, he eventually does get killed in the film, so which is bad. But he is found to be a bit of an airhead at times, which is not liked by his partner. Um, but I'm trying to think of. Oh, you're right. The plot with him and Marcellus's wife, Mrs. Wallace, played by Uma Thurman, who is very attractive, and I will talk about her also in the other Kill Bill films. She is a really good actress. Really respect her. Um, but yeah, there's that plot line where he has to kind of babysit her, so to speak, or just keep her company while Marcellus is away, I guess. So he goes there to do that. He goes to dinner with her at Jack Rabbit Slim's. They talk for a bit. They go back to um, the house that Marcellus Wallace is living in. Um, Vincent accidentally leaves his coat out where he has a pack full of heroin, and Miss Wallace finds this. She snorts it. It is way too much for her, and she starts to OD. So, put yourself in that situation. I would never do that. I would never do. The drugs I've had pot. I've had beer. I had one cigarette in my life. I had some salvia. Um, Pot, beer, salvia, one cig, and I think that's it. I don't think I've had anything else though. Unless that mushroom that I had and that pizza that one time was a psilocybin mushroom. But I don't know about that there. But yeah, so anyway, I don't know what I would do in that situation, but what Vincent Vega does is he takes the phone. He calls a friend of his, character name. I forget his name. He is the heroin dealer though, and he asks him what to do. He says, "I'm going to be a grease spot if I can't save this woman. He's my boss's wife, and my boss is going to kill me. What do I do?" I'm going to look up the character's name here. Um, uh, Lance, played by Eric Stoltz, who does a good job with the role. Um, so yeah, that's Stoltz's character, Lance. So Lance thinks about it. He's distressed also because now he's involved, and because that's the person he sold that heroin to Vincent. So if the cops get involved, he's in trouble now too. Lance goes to Vincent. He brings an adrenaline shot with him to prevent the OD from killing Miss Wallace and to revive her and to make her all better. And the suspense that's built up in that scene is done very well. It's a close up of the needle as you lift it up, and Lance says you have to break through the breastplate to actually have any effect. So Vincent really has to like slam down into Miss Wallace's chest there, and the suspense that builds up is interesting. And it's kind of funny too because there's Lance's girlfriend in the back who is like high out of her mind, laughing at everything. So that's kind of a interesting combo there, having a bit of humor and suspense. Creates an interesting feeling for the viewer, but that's done very well. She Miss Wallace is revived. She does live, so Vince does get out of trouble for that moment in time. So that's a relief for him. And yeah, I think that's most of the plot that I explained there. I think I described all of that. I think there's some other elements too. Butch's wife, and the watch that's left on the kangaroo statue, and the home. Butch's wife loses it. The watch was given to him by his, I think his father, or not his father, but a veteran played by what's I trying blanking on his name. The He plays Bruce Dickinson in the SNL sketch. Christopher Walken, who is a vet who gives Bush's father's watch after Bush's father is killed in the war. So that watch is very important to him. The wife doesn't misplace it, but forgets to pack it. That's the reason why Butch has to go back to his house and risk being killed by gangsters, and that's why he becomes so upset at her. So luckily, Vincent messes up, and Butch is able to grab the gun and kill Vincent. But yeah, Butch gets very angry about that as he realizes that's where the gangsters are going to be looking for him. That's one of the first places. So um, yeah, that's a really good film. Creates a lot of suspense, good moral ambiguity in all of the characters, and just a really good use of a nonlinear plot. I really enjoy that. Very good film. I think that's probably my favorite out of all of them. I will officialize that at the end here, though, because I'm going to talk about some other ones too. Apologies for belching here. Um, Jackie Brown, I saw a while ago. I remember Michael Keaton being very good in it. I am very fuzzy on the plot. I know it's based off of a book based on what my AP English teacher told me the person who did Rum Punch or who wrote Rum Punch. I think it's Elmore Leonard. I'm gonna look that up now too because this film is based off of a book. It doesn't have a non-linear plot line. The plot line does follow a chronological order, beginning to end in real time. Um, Jackie Brown. I'm just going to look this up so I can explain more of the plot and then refresh my memory about it also. Okay, so Pam Grier, who does a good job as Jackie Brown in there. Bridget Fonda, Robert Forster, Sam Jackson is in it also. Also in Pulp Fiction. Oh, right. Robert De Niro's in there. Chris Tucker and Mike Keaton, who I remember, or Michael Keaton, who I remember being very good in that. I'm just going to look up the plot though because I remember it being good. It's not my favorite, but it's I still really do like it. Jackie Brown, a flight attendant, smuggles money from Mexico into the U.S. This is from Wikipedia. For Ordell Robbie, a gun runner in Los Angeles. When Ordell's courier, Beaumont Livingston, is arrested, he hires bail bondsman Max Cherry to bail him out. To prevent Beaumont from talking to the police, Ordell kills him. Okay, so you have Jackie Brown. She's a flight attendant. She smuggles some money from Mexico into the U.S. For Ordell Robbie, a gun runner. Ordell's courier, messenger, Beaumont Livingston, is arrested. Ordell hires bail bondsman Max Cherry to bail him out. To prevent Beaumont from talking to the police, and that's Ordell's courier, Ordell kills him. Okay, so Beaumont messes up. He's the courier for this gun runner here. Beaumont is then killed by Ordell for screwing up there by being arrested. Um, and then that's after Max Cherry, the bail bondsman, bails Beaumont out. So I'm gonna look at the characters here so I can remember. Yeah, Beaumont is Chris Tucker, so I do remember that there. So Beaumont is Chris Tucker. Ordell Robbie is Sam Jackson. I do remember that there. Pam Grier is Jackie Brown, and then the other character there, Max Cherry, is Robert Forster. So okay, so you have that there. So Beaumont's killed. He messes up. He ends up getting arrested. So Ordell kills him, so he doesn't get in trouble himself. And Jackie is the one who gave him the money from Mexico. Gives the money to Ordell, the gun runner. So acting on information Beaumont has already given them, ATF agent Ray Nicolette, played by Michael Keaton. That's good. I do remember him being the agent there. And then LAPD detective Mark Dragus, who is played by Michael Bowen, who I haven't heard of him, but that's him. Um, Michael Bowen, Bowen. Okay, so these two officers, they're alcohol, tobacco, and firearm agents. Uh, Ray Nicolette and LAPD detective Mark Dargis intercept Jackie, Pam Grier, with Ordell's cash, that's Sam Jackson, and a bag of cocaine. After Jackie is sent to jail, Ordell hires Max to bail her out. Okay, so Max, okay, that's Robert Forster, that bail bondsman again. Ordell arrives at Jackie's apartment. That's Sam Jackson arrives at Pam Grier's apartment. Yeah, I'm just stating the actors so I can remember in my mind in terms of visuals who everyone is. Ordell arrives at Jackie's apartment. She pulls out a gun she stole from Max's glove box. She negotiates a deal with Ordell. She will pretend to help the authorities while smuggling $550,000 of Ordell's money. Ordell brings in Louis Gara, played by Robert De Niro, a criminal associate and former cellmate just released from prison. Meanwhile, Melanie Ralston, one of Ordell's women, attempts to convince Louis to betray Ordell and take the money for themselves. Okay, so Greer is kind of blackmailing Ordell, or Jackie Brown is blackmailing Ordell. She states she will pretend to help the authorities out and will smuggle in $550,000 of Ordell's money. Uh, hmm. So I think what happened is Ordell is goes to Jackie's apartment to kill her because LAPD detectives have caught Jackie. So Ordell is once again worried about someone opening their mouth about him. So he goes there to kill Jackie, but Jackie has a gun that was pulled from the bail bondsman's glove box. So she ends up not really blackmailing, but just protecting her own self and then negotiating with Ordell and stating that she will pretend to help the authorities while smuggling the rest of his money in. So, not blackmail, just protecting yourself and negotiating. So Ordell brings Louis Gara. I'm going to read this again just to get the plot down. Um, Robert De Niro's character, former criminal associate to Ordell and former cellmate, just released from prison. Meanwhile, Melanie Ralston, one of Ordell's women, attempts to convince Lewis to betray Ordell and take the money for themselves. Lewis tells Ordell, but Ordell replies that he is not concerned about her. Okay, so the author of Rum Punch, the book that this is based on, is by Elmore Leonard. Just to mention that quickly. Okay, so you have Jackie Brown. She's smuggling in some money for Ordell, a gun runner. Ordell's courier gets arrested. So Ordell has a bail bondsman kill Beaumont, the courier. No, he doesn't hire the bail bondsman to kill him. He just hires the bail bondsman to release his courier from jail so Ordell can kill him. So that's okay. I understand that now. Okay, so courier is taken care of now. Ordell is relatively safe in terms of his gun running business being found out. But then Jackie Brown gets caught by the two agents, the ATF agent and the LAPD detective, where she has cash in a bag of cocaine. Ordell, assumingly, goes to kill her at her apartment, but she has a gun that she took out of the bail bondsman's glove box. She negotiates that deal where she'll pretend to help the authorities and will still smuggle that money for Ordell. Okay, so that makes sense there. Okay, now we have Robert De Niro's character, Louis Gara. Ordell brings in Louis Gara, a criminal associate and former cellmate just released from prison. Meanwhile, Melanie Ralston, one of Ordell's women, attempts to convince Louis to betray Ordell and take the money for themselves. Louis tells Ordell, but Ordell replies that he is not concerned about her. Okay, so now we have the introduction of Melanie Ralston, one of Ordell's women, who is trying to betray Ordell with Lewis, Robert De Niro's character. Unaware of the plan to smuggle in $550,000, Nicolette and Dargis devise a sting to catch Ordell during a transfer of $50,000. Jackie plans to keep the $500,000 for herself. Okay, so Jackie does not really plan on giving Ordell his money. She recruits Max, offering him a cut, and Max is the bail bondsman. During a test run, Jackie smuggles in $10,000. Okay, with Nicolette and Dargis aware, to swap with Sharonda, Ordell's live-in girlfriend, at a shopping mall. After Jackie leaves, Max observes an unknown woman swap bags with Sharonda. He informs Jackie, and she confronts Ordell, who states he used Simone Hawkins, one of his contacts, to secure his money as a backup. Okay. So it seems like everybody is trying to screw Ordell over here. So Nicolette and Dargis devise a sting, not being aware of the plan to smuggle in the 550,000 to catch Ordell during a transfer of 50,000. Jackie plans to keep the $500,000 for herself. We've learned that now, or I've learned that now. She recruits Max, offering him a cut. During a test run, Jackie smuggles in $10,000 with Nicolette and Dargis aware. Dargis. Who is Dargis here? I know Luis Gara is Robert De Niro's character. He is the associate to Ordell and former cellmate. Melanie Ralston. Who the heck is Dargis? They don't say who Dargis. Wait, maybe he was. Dargis. Sorry, that's the LAPT. That's the detective. So Dargis and Nicolette are the detective and ATF agent, respectively. Okay, so I forgot about those characters for a second. Okay, so these detectives and ATF, the detective and ATF agent are unaware of the plan to smuggle in the $550,000. They are devising a sting to catch Ordell during a transfer of $50,000. Jackie plans to keep $500,000 for herself. She recruits Max, the bail bondsman, offering him a cut. During a test run, Jackie smuggles in $10,000 with Nicolette and Dargis aware. So both of these agents are aware of this. To swap with Sharonda, Ordell's live-in girlfriend, at a swapping mall. Not a swapping mall, a shopping mall. Sorry, a shopping mall. So after Jackie leaves, Max observes an unknown woman. This is the bail bondsman. Swap bags with Sharonda. Okay, so Jackie and Max, the bail bondsman, are in cahoots now. And then you have Louis Gara and Melanie Ralston, who are going to betray Ordell potentially. Okay. And then Jackie is planning to keep the money for herself now. And the agents are still unaware of this $550,000 being smuggled in. So after Jackie leaves, Max observes an unknown woman swap bags with Sharonda. Okay. He informs Jackie. So someone did some sort of. Maybe they. Okay, I don't know what's going on here because Max observes. Because Jackie's supposed to do the swap with Sharonda, but Max observes, and this might be Melanie Ralston here. Um, Louis Gar, Louis Gara's or Robert De Niro characters, Robert De Niro's characters associate there. So this might be the woman that Max is seeing here doing this swap that Jackie's meant to do. He informs Jackie, and she confronts Ordell, who states he used Simone Hawkins, one of his contacts. Oh, okay, so this isn't Ralston, this is someone else. So scratch that, what I just said. Sorry. He informs Jackie, and she confronts Ordell. So good. Jackie's confused about this, as she's supposed to do the swap. She confronts Ordell. Ordell says he used Simone Hawkins, one of his contacts, to secure his money as a backup. So Jackie's starting to get screwed over here now. Okay, so on the day of the transfer, Ordell discovers that Simone has left town with the $10,000. Okay, so that's bad for Ordell again. Ordell keeps getting screwed here. He reluctantly recruits Melanie to perform the swap instead. Now, Melanie, as stated, is also trying to screw Ordell also. So this film should be called Screw Ordell Robbie. That would be a good name for that, so I can understand the plot more easily. But Jackie Brown is good too. That's fine. So reluctantly recruits Melanie to perform the swap instead. Okay, so that's that there. So Ordell discovers that Simone has left the town with $10,000. He gets screwed over trying to protect himself. from Jackie. He reluctantly recruits Melanie to perform the swap instead, so it seems like he has some sort of skeptical mindset about Melanie there. Jackie enters a dressing room in a department store to try on a suit. Though she has told Nicolette the exchange will take place in the food court, she has told Ordell she will swap bags in the dressing room. Okay, so she told the agent that she's going to do the exchange in the food court, but has told Ordell she will swap bags in the dressing room. The bag contains only 40,000. Jackie leaves the rest in the dressing room for Max, her associate there, the bail bondsman. Jackie takes $10,000 and places it on top of the bag she gives Melanie as a bonus. Okay, so she pays Melanie for something here. I'm a little confused of what Melanie does. Maybe she's using that because Ordell recruits Melanie to perform the swap here. So Jackie is paying $10,000 for some reason. She enters the dressing room in the department store trying to suit. She tells the agent that the exchange will take place in the food court. He tells Ordell that the swap is going to be in the dressing room. The bag contains only $40,000. Jackie leaves the rest in the dressing room for Max. Okay, so 40,000 of the I think now 490,000 because Simone has left town with 10,000 of the 500,000, or 10,000 of the 550,000. The other 50,000 was transferred in a sting. No, no, 50,000 is not gone yet because the only amount that has been swapped before this point is 10,000. And that is taken by Sharonda. No, taken by Simone. So there's $50,000 being smuggled in. The sting is that they're going to catch Ordell in the transfer of 50,000. Jackie, who still okay? So I know that she plans to keep the other 500,000 for herself, but I'm just trying to figure out what's going on with the money here. Okay, so Jackie, during the test run, Jackie smuggles in 10,000, with the agents aware to swap with Sharonda Ordell's live-in girlfriend. Okay, so they're going to do 10,000 first as a test run, and then 50,000 for the actual sting. The 10,000 during the test run gets taken by Simone, Ordell's associate, before Jackie can do the swap herself. And this is for the test run. Okay, so Simone leaves town with a 10,000. So Ordell's most likely ticked now. So he recruits Melanie to perform the swap instead. Melanie's also trying to screw Ordell over. Jackie enters a dressing room in the department store to try on a suit. Though she has told Nicolette that Nicolette's the agent, the exchange will take place in the food court, she has told Ordell she will swap bags in the dressing room. The bag contains only $40,000. Okay, so they're right because that 10,000 was taken by Simone, who left town. Okay, so the bag. I'm guessing this is the actual sting now. It's just 40,000 instead of 50 now. So Jackie leaves the rest in a dressing room for Max, the bail bondsman. Jackie takes 10,000 of the 40,000 and places it on top of the bag she gives Melanie as a bonus. Okay, so she's taking 10 of this 40,000 of the sting money, the actual sting money, and gives it to Melanie as a bonus. Jackie runs to the food court and finds Nicolette, the agent, claiming Melanie burst into the dressing room and stole the money. Okay, so she's paying Melanie to pretend like she stole all the 40,000, but what happened is Jackie paid Melanie $10,000 to take the blame, so to speak, and then just skip town. So that's what the 10,000 was for, out of the now 40,000 of the original 50,000 that was going to be used for the actual sting. So I'm wondering how Jackie's going to get the rest of his 500,000 out of here. Jackie runs to the food court and finds Nicolette, claiming Melanie person. Okay, so I read that part already. Okay, so the agents are now thinking perhaps that Melanie is the one who has the 40,000 now. During the exchange, Melanie is uncooperative, and in the parking lot after the exchange, she mocks Lewis, Rob De Niro's character, cellmate to Ordell, for forgetting where they parked. Oh yeah, Robert De Niro's character is a huge stoner in this, so that's interesting. Kind of similar to Vincent Vega's character for being careless and messing things up, or making things worse. He loses his temper and kills her. Oh, okay, so strange. Okay, so Melanie tries to get away with the 10,000 that Jackie gave her, basically to be a cover for her, and then she's going to skip town with that 10,000. Melanie is uncooperative, and in the parking lot after the exchange, she mocks Lewis for forgetting where they parked. Um, and I guess I do remember Lewis just not liking this Melanie character throughout the film, so I guess she's always nagging him. But he loses his temper and kills her. Okay, so Lewis has now killed Melanie, who had the 10,000. So Lewis tells Ordell, who discovers that most of the money is missing. Um, Lewis tells Ordell that he killed Melanie, who discovers most of the money is missing. When Lewis recalls seeing Max at the shopping mall, Ordell, furious, kills Lewis. Okay, so Ordell's ticked because Lewis saw the bail bondsman at the shopping mall, and Ordell has made that connection between him and Jackie screwing him over. So Lewis should have done something about that, being Ordell's associate. So Ordell is probably ticked about Melanie being killed by Lewis too, so Ordell decides to kill Lewis. Okay, so Lewis is now dead. Melanie's dead. So Jackie is really the only one now who would be the one to screw Ordell over. Ordell instructs Max to tell Jackie that Ordell will kill them if she does not return the money, and that if she does go to the police, he will name her as an accessory. Okay, so Max, Jackie's partner here, and oh, sorry. Okay, so Ordell instructs Max, the bail bondsman, to tell Jackie that Ordell will kill them both if she does not return the money, and that if she goes to the police, he will name her as an accessory. Okay, so if Jackie goes to the police, Ordell is going to name her as an accessory. If they don't return the money, they're both going to be killed, both Max and Jackie. Max goes to Ordell's house and tells him that Jackie is frightened, is waiting in Max's office with the money. Okay, so Max is now at Ordell's house, tells him that Jackie is frightened, is waiting in Max's office with the money. Okay, so Jackie's the one in Max's office with the money. Ordell holds Max at gunpoint, and as they enter his office, okay, so Max is now in trouble. Ordell has him at gunpoint now, in Ordell's office. Jackie yells out that Ordell has a gun. Nicolette, Dargis, and Winston hiding in the back. Okay, so these are the agents. Nicolette, Dargis, and Winston. I don't remember him. Okay, so he's some other character now. I don't know who he is, but someone with the agents. Maybe another agent. Hiding in the back. Oh, okay, so Ordell has Max at gunpoint. Jackie comes in. No, Jackie has to be nearby, so I'm not sure if he's in the office. Okay, Max goes to Ordell's house and tells him that Jackie is frightened and is waiting in Max's office with the money. Okay, so he's in Max's office. Okay, not he, she, Jackie there. So she is in Max's office with the money. Ordell points the gun at Max after Ordell I'm sorry, after Max tells Ordell that Jackie is frightened and in his office, I would be suspicious too if I were Ordell. So wise of him to put the gun at Max's head, I'm assuming. So Jackie's in the office pretending to be frightened, and then Ordell, who's suspicious of Max, who has told him that Jackie is in his office being frightened, now has Ordell at gunpoint. Okay, so there's these agents here who, when they hear Jackie yell that Ordell has a gun, ambush him and shoot Ordell dead. Okay. The charges against Jackie are dropped, and she plans a trip to Madrid. Max declines her invitation to join her. They kiss goodbye, and he watches her drive away. Okay, so things end up working out for Jackie Brown and Max there. Um, so that's good. It's weird. So it's a weird film about a flight attendant and a bail bondsman who end up screwing over a gun runner who the flight attendant is planning to smuggle money in for. So that's the really basic synopsis of it. That I do remember the film better now after reading about it. Um, yeah, all the acting is from what I remember is good. Michael Keaton's good. Pam Grier's very good. All of them very good. Sam Jackson, Robert De Niro. Forster, I don't know as well, but I'm guessing he was good also. I can't really remember, but Chris Tucker's good too. All of them good. Everyone's good in this film. So that's interesting. It's sort of a, as I stated before, if I were to name the movie, I'd say Everyone Screwed Over Ordell Robbie. That would be what I would call it. It helps me understand the plot a little bit better too. But that's a good one. Not a super complicated plot, but complicated enough to keep my interest. Good acting. That's another good one that I enjoy, and that's again based off of a book called Rum Punch by Elmore Leonard, which I never actually read, but my AP English teacher did mention that to me when he talked about the film in class one day. So that's another good one there. I'm going to move on to Kill Bill, Volume 1 and 2 now. Have seen both of these movies a couple times. Um, I did practice karate from age 15 to 18, a bit when I was in my early 20s, age 22 to age 25. I still practice a bit occasionally, so I really do still like martial arts and martial arts films. And this is a very good one. Quentin Tarantino does a really good job at making a film that really does express his interest in the genre of martial arts films. He pays homage to Bruce Lee with the yellow and black suit that the bride wears. Beatrix Kiddo, that's a spoiler, but I'll say spoilers in the description. That's her real name, as we find out at the very uh, end of the second film. But the plot, I'm not going to look up Wikipedia for this one because I've seen it quite a few times, but the plot involves a bride named Beatrix Kiddo, who for some reason the name is kept secret throughout the film, I guess just to give some mystery to the character, which is cool. But yeah, that's fine. This character, Beatrix Kiddo, is a bride who is thought to be assassinated by some other assassins at her wedding. She is betrayed by them, and she is left for dead. And she is currently pregnant also. The reason she's killed is because she left her former boyfriend and assassin boss, played by David Carradine, who is Bill. So Bill is ticked that she left him. Um, she does not want to live the assassin's life anymore, just wants a normal life. And so she decides to just get married and have a kid, or a child rather. Bill does not like this, so he assassinates her, has her assassinated, at her wedding whilst pregnant by a group of assassins that he also works with, and who she has also worked with in the past also. So she wakes up later. She survives being shot. She wakes up in a hospital. She discovers that her baby is gone. She is traumatized, and I'm trying. I don't know. I don't know what it's like to be pregnant, so I can't empathize with this too much or sympathize too much either. But if someone were to kill my kid, I don't know. I don't. I would have a strong inkling to kill that person. I don't think I'd actually would, but that is a good question that the film raises. So yeah, that I just had to think about that a bit more now that I'm a bit older. And yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I might do that if someone did that to me. But anyway, she wakes up. The kid's gone. She thinks it's dead. She's traumatized, ticked. Um, she is in a not so good state. Mostly paralyzed. Um, but she wiggles her big toe and ends up getting out of there. She's in a hospital. She finds out, um, based on some memories that emerge after she awakes, that she had been raped while she was in a coma by one of the hospital attendants there, Buck. So that, man, I'm getting like choked up here. But she finds out that the attendant there has been raping her while she's in the coma. Her baby's gone. Uh, she is an assassin, so it's a bit hard to feel for her, a former assassin. So um, I do sympathize with her a bit, her character. But um, anyway, she gets out of the hospital. She ends up escaping. She wiggles her big toe. She ends up, I think, killing. Yeah, she does end up killing Buck with one of the scalpels. Buck with one of the scalpels she finds. She finds his truck. She uses his car key, or the truck key rather, to gain access to his truck and then leaves. And the main plot, excuse me, the main plot for the rest of the films is that she's now on a revenge mission to kill Bill, who attempted to assassinate her, and she thinks her baby is dead. I will spoil the ending, give another spoiler alert here, which I'll also give in the description, that her child is actually still alive and living with Bill. So after 5 years or so of attempting to find Bill and kill him, um, uh, she finds him and yeah, finds out that her daughter is still alive and that Bill has been raising her. So, I don't know what I would do in that situation either. So I probably would do what she does is she kills him and excuse me with a 5 pressure point attack that she learns from one of her mentors. That's the main plot. I'll go a little bit more into the different assassins that she also is gaining revenge from or attempting to. She does end up killing all of them. She does use some of them to gain info on where Bill is before killing them. One of which is played by Gerald Hanna. Um, She is the assassin with the black eye patch. But I guess I should go in order. The first one she finds is the actress played Lucy Liu, plays her one of the assassins. They all have snake names. I'll have to look up her character name there, but Lucy Liu is the first assassin that she goes to kill, and she is one of the ones who attempted to kill her. Um, um, okay, so yeah, Lucy Liu. Her name's Oren Ishii. There's a really good animated anime scene which explains Oren Ishii's past in that section also. Her code name is Cottonmouth, a former deadly viper who has become the leader of the Japanese Yakuza. So that's the first assassin, and then this info I'm reading from Wikipedia about Oren Ishii here. So yeah, she ends up fighting the crazy 88 of Oren Ishii's henchmen at her abode. Very cool scene. Lots of blood. A very good scene. Really interesting. Think about killing 88 people would be very hard to do, but it's choreographed very well. Um, and so yeah, okay, so she kills Onrenishi. I I don't know if she gets info from her or not. On where to go next. I think she must because she goes to the next assassin. I think this is the correct order for this. Vivica A. Fox, who plays Vernita Green, codenamed Copperhead. So she kills Cottonmouth first, and then she goes to kill Copperhead, a former deadly viper who is the team of assassins under Bill, who Beatrix was also a part of, and now a mother and homemaker living under the name Jeannie Bell. This is another memorable scene where the child of Copperhead um, sees Beatrix Kiddo kill her mother, and so it sort of leaves the question of whether or not this child will do what Beatrix is doing and go after Beatrix and assassinate her one day for revenge. So that's an open question. I wonder if that will be in Volume 3, if Volume 3 gets made. I don't know. That's the question I guess that I and other people who've seen the movie have. But that's also a very good scene. The next two assassins that she goes after, and I believe this is in the second one. So yeah, this is in the second one. So I'll jump to the second one now. She goes to assassinate Bud, codenamed Sidewinder, as well as California Mountain Snake. So these are played by Michael Madsen and Daryl Hannah, respectively. Who I mentioned a bit, she's the one with the eye patch. So she goes to kill them. She ends up getting bushwhacked. So Michael Madsen is ready for her. She opens the trailer door where she knows he is. He's already there with a shotgun. He blasts her away with a shotgun there. And so he knows she's still alive. It's buckshot that is used. She's barely hanging on, but once again, he takes her and he buries her alive. Once another memorable scene is when she is buried alive, and MythBusters proved this. This is not possible. So, a fantastic scene that's all based in fantasy, but still a good one. The scene where she does the 1 inch punch, Bruce Lee's 1 inch punch to get out of the coffin. Again, that's not possible. You couldn't survive getting through 6 feet of dirt laid on top of you. You'd the dirt would just bury you again, and you would die of lack of oxygen. Um, but it might be. I don't know. Maybe it's possible. I don't know. But most likely not for most humans. Daryl Hannah is still at the trailer with Michael Madsen. Uh, they both think she's dead. And unfortunately for them, she isn't. She returns to the trailer where Sidewinder and California Mountain Snake are. Ends up killing. No, sorry, she doesn't kill Sidewinder. Actually, California Mountain Snake ends up killing Sidewinder. They have some sort of money that they are planning on sharing, but um, California Mountain Snake betrays Sidewinder by poisoning him and ends up killing him. So I apologize for that. Beatrix doesn't kill Sidewinder, um, but she does end up killing California Mountain Snake, who does admit to Beatrix that she also poisoned her master, who had trained her in martial arts. Both of them trained under him. I'm assuming that is who Bill sends his assassins to gain martial arts experience to become better assassins. So she tells that to um, Daryl Hannah. Her character, Elle Driver, is her real name, California Mountain Snake. Um, so the reason why California Mountain Snake killed her master was because her master plucked her eye out of her head for being foul-mouthed. So tough master there, but so that's why she poisoned his fish. And so when she tells Beatrix Kiddo this, Beatrix plucks her other good eye out of her head, leaving her blind. Oh wait, shoot, does she kill her or does she just leave her blind? I completely forgot that part. Shoot, I think she just leaves her blind. Oh man, that is a lot crueler. I got to check on that one there, but Kill Bill Volume 2. I'm just gonna look that up. I thought she killed her, but I that might be a better form of revenge there. Okay, so there's deadly pepper assassination just going there, um, former Deadly Viper arranges to sell her bride's unique sword for 1 million. Oh yeah, so they're also trying to sell the bride's sword, which she received from Hattori Hanzo for $1 million. Um, yeah, okay, so that's what the deal was, and that's why Elle, I think, uh, poisoned him, killed. Yeah, he kills. She doesn't poison. Well, she does poison him in a way. She kills him with a black mamba that is hidden in the money that's given to him. So Madsen is going to give Elle Beatrix's sword for $1 million. Elle pretends that the deal is good, but ends up betraying Michael Madsen's character and ends up killing him with the Black Mamba that she hides in the money. Um, so yeah, okay. So she calls Bill, tells him that the bride has killed Bud, Michael Madsen's character. So she lies about that. Blames Beatrix for that. So this L is kind of a sneaky, even more deviant character than the other assassins here. I Yeah, okay, so she uses the bride's real name, Beatrix Kiddo. I think that's when that's when it's first revealed. I think. I wish my memory was better on this, but anyway, Al exits the trailer. Beatrix ambushes her, and they fight. Elle, who is also taught by Pi, who was the mentor toward both of them, the one who I plucked her eye out, Elle's eye out, taunts Beatrix by revealing that she killed Pi by poisoning his favorite meal in retribution for him plucking out her eye, and she called him a miserable old fool. Enraged, Beatrix plucks out Elle's remaining eye and leaves her screaming in the trailer with the Black Mamba. Okay, so the Black Mamba probably does kill her. So she doesn't actually kill her, but the viewer would infer that the Black Mamba, with her blind, is going to bite her and poison her to death. Okay, so After she kills Elle, she ends up finding Bill. It says here in Wikipedia, I didn't remember this part on my own, but Beatrix meets a retired pimp, Esteban Viejo, who helps her find Bill. She tracks him to a hotel and discovers that her daughter is still alive, which I already mentioned there. So I spoiled the ending, so I apologize for that. But yeah, finds out that he is raising her daughter. Gives him the 5 point palm exploding heart technique move, which I mentioned. And this is from Wikipedia that reading that 5 point palm exploding heart technique. Um, Surprised that Pi taught her the attack, Bill reconciles with her and then falls dead. So yeah, that's it. Beatrix leaves with her daughter BB to start a new life. Um, so yeah, really good films. Two really good ones. I'm surprised that I choked up. I freaking got at that. I haven't seen those in a long time, but they do offer some good questions on if somebody did leave you for dead and you thought that they killed your child. I wonder if I would take revenge on them too. Hopefully that'll never happen to me, but just an interesting question that a film can raise. Interesting hypothetical there. But really good action scenes in all the films, very good choreography, good homage to old martial arts movies, films, I should say. Give them a bit more respect. I don't know, movies might be good too. I don't really know if there's a difference now between films and movies, but I just sort of prefer the term film still. But both are very good. Kill Bill Volume 1 and Volume 2. I'm wondering if there will be a Volume 3. I think there is one in the works, but I don't know, so I'm not going to get my hopes up. But we'll definitely see that if it does come out. But yeah, they're both really good. I think these are probably my second favorite Pulp Fiction, so I'll put these at number two for now. Both very moving, very good films. And I think I prefer Pulp Fiction more because it makes use of that non-linear plot. The characters are a little bit more morally ambiguous. All the characters in this, except for Beatrix, are just sort of evil. There's a lot of evil in this film. Beatrix has good in her, and yeah, I definitely like that about the film. This sort of idea not of only of revenge but redemption also from oneself. So I highly recommend those. Django Unchained is also very good. Again, I'm not going to rank everything yet because that is definitely a close second. I might make that first. I'll think about it as I move through here. Um, Django Unchained is another very good one. Has the Django character from the Zorro movies in there, played by Jamie Foxx. I believe that has to be him, right? Because I he's the main character there. A secondary character in the Zorro series who is a main character of this film. I'm just going to double check that there because I have seen this film only once, so I don't know the plot very well, but also another very good one. Um, okay, so I might do two parts for this, so I might come back to Django Unchained in the next one because this video is going on a bit long. So I'm going to end with Kill Bill here, and I will continue the next video with Django Unchained, as I have to get more into the plot, as I've only seen this one once. But I do remember it being good, and I found out recently that of the tie to the Zorro franchise, which I didn't know about until recently. So that's interesting also. So thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you wish. If you want to leave a comment, that's fine too. And thanks again. Have a good rest of the day.